Well, I apologize for yesterday's slight battery problem, but picking up where I left off, I was talking about the fact that on the Vincent figure, I'm going to take him off of his stand there, it had these little pieces that will recess into the sides, and it's actually got a little notch for you to get a thumbnail in there and take that piece out. And I'm going to try to get this in focus. It's not going to be easy though. So that's the forward edge of it with no thumb recess, and then the opposite side of it has a little groove right there where you can get a thumbnail in there. But if you were to put this one on this side and this one on that side, it would be a lot more difficult to get the pieces back out. So be aware, there is a left and a right of these, so try to make sure you put them in the correct positions when you are putting this piece in versus the original piece, which is the longer extended arm. So like that. Because the first time I put it in, I was like, oh no, how do I get that back out? And I just thankfully had the correct side in to be able to wedge it back out of there. So, all right, that was my panic moment when I was putting him together. Also, these are pretty neat. A little bit difficult to wedge in there, but they replaced these hands that were factory installed and go in there for the recessed versions of those. And like I say, I still don't know how to put the how to get those lasers out in order to put the extended lasers in. Maybe they just, nope, they've got a plug on the bottom of them that sockets into place. So just have to figure that out one of these days. Now there's one additional accessory, and I wasn't really sure where on him it was supposed to go. And there's no instructions that I can find, but it's inside this panel right here that flips down. There's a hole where you put this little probe. And I don't know that it's a great design because it's not really wanting to pull this plate down as far as it should. The other thing, the other difficulty that I had with that particular accessory is when these are taped into the blister, you have to peel the tape off the blister to get to them. And this one had adhered to the tape, and it pulled off a little tiny piece of silver paint when I took the tape off of it. So wasn't exactly happy about that. I looked on the website for Big Bad Toy Store, and it was sold out now. And then I thought, well, I could contact their customer service. Haven't gotten a reply from that yet. Been less than 24 hours, but still. And then I thought, well, I could just look for the regular version at Walgreens because he comes with the same little piece as well, and it doesn't appear like those are taped in. I could be wrong. I haven't actually opened this to find out, but you know, this was like a $17 version of the deluxe. It doesn't come with Old Bob, doesn't come with the diorama piece, so that's an option if you want to do something like that. Ta-da! Now I have two of them. All right, speaking of the diorama piece, so I used some Goo Gone to get that tape residue off the back. Just liberally coated it on and then kept taking Q-tips to it to take some of the residue off. I feel like at the end the Q-tip started to turn black, so I was probably getting into a little bit of the factory paint there. Be careful. Also, speaking of factory paint, I was very worried when I finally got the rail in by heating everything up with a hairdryer and wedging it down. Then I noticed a little piece of paint missing right there on the front edge of that rail. And I was a little bit concerned that I had done that when I was heating everything with the hairdryer, but I went back and I reviewed the old video, and you sure enough can see that little glitch on it as soon as I take it out of the package. So that was in there factory installed. The final thought that I wanted to share with you about the backdrop, by the way, the backdrop is reversible. I don't think I made that evident. So why would that be beneficial? Okay, here's my theory. There were three little black things in the box with Vincent and Old Bob, and I was like, where did these go? What are these? Let me pick them all up on camera at the same time if I can. So they've got 2 holes on that side, and they've got a little groove down the center line. Well, guess what? On the underside of this, you've got a couple of pegs, 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 pegs. And if you were to put those there, then that says to me that you could attach 2 floor pieces together. And then you'd have one of these left over. Maybe if you bought another one, you'd have 6 of these. Then you could attach, you could keep making this diorama larger, and that would be beneficial then if you had a backdrop piece that you could orient different ways to break up the monotony of your scene that you were building. But these are the only 2 deluxe figures available. One of them comes with a wall, one that comes with the floor and the rail. So what else are we supposed to be buying to extend this diorama? Is there a wave 2 planned? Are they going to make the Sentry and Star like I had hoped in a previous video? I don't think they're going to make any of the human characters, but they might. They might make the humanoid. But seems like the robots are the way to go. So I'm hoping for Star and Sentry. And it makes the most toy company sense because, as I said in the previous video, you sculpt it once, you charge us twice. That's the way toy companies like to think, because tooling is the most expensive thing for them to do. So yeah, I'm not sure what they're hoping to do, what they're planning to do with these little pieces. Sorry, that's kind of hard to see against my shirt there. So yeah, I've got my fingers crossed that there's going to be more of these. Otherwise, I guess you could just buy a bunch of Maximilians and a bunch of Vincent Bobs and make a big bridge to go with them, but then you're going to have a bunch of figures left over. Also, let's look at the dimensions of this diorama piece, because once you put the base in there for your figure, and bear in mind, I took a piece out of my base when I was putting it together there, your figure is going to be taller than your backdrop. You know? Kind of a curious way to do that. He's going to extend over the rail. And Vincent, I'm sorry, I keep doing that. Maximilian, well, he can't fit in there at all. And even if he did, he's 8 1/4 inches tall. He's going to be taller than the backdrop. So who exactly was this little wall designed for? I don't know. Might be something else that they're planning to do with it. I couldn't tell you. I like you may have noticed I've got Maximilian's retracted claws in place, and then you can change those out for the extended claws. I guess that was just too small of moving parts for them to hinge. So these are the ones that I like to call his Norman Bates killing claws. So there we go. All right. Wow. If they never made human characters for this movie, I just had this thought on camera, you could find a Psycho figure of Norman Bates and do a custom. Interesting. Interesting. All right, and then there is the Vinimates. I have not opened those yet. And since I was looking for the Walgreens version, wanted to see if there were differences between the deluxe and the exclusive, and looks to be that everything in this package comes in this package. So if you've already got the 3-pack of deluxe figures from a website, then you don't need this guy from the pharmacy. So I guess I can return that and get a refund or something. So all right, one more quick thought about the black hole. What was it? I was going to do something else with Vincent. Can't recall what it was. Take out those and put in these. Oh, I know what it was. It's a line of dialogue. One of my favorite lines of dialogue. There's something I love about Roddy McDowall's delivery of the line in the movie is when he says, the character of Pizer says to him, you know what they say, all work and no play. And Vincent responds, all sunshine makes a desert, so the Arabs say. And that's a line that Alan Dean Foster, the novelizer, totally ruined in the novelization because he changes it. I guess he was just trying to be more erudite. Let me see if I can find it on the page. So remember what they say, all about work and no play, about all work and no play. I'm sorry, that's Holland saying that. It's not Pizer. And then Vincent says, all sunshine makes a desert. So the Arabs said, ellipse, before the advent of cheap solar power. Okay, way to kill a joke. Way to kill the rhythm and flow of a great joke there, Alan Dean Foster. But anyway, so that is the up-to-date on Black Hole and Rocketeer. Thanks for watching, and sorry about the little glitch with the battery dying yesterday.